Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked through life and felt like it wasn't just random, like the world around you was arranged somehow? You see 11:11 on a clock, then you get a message from someone you were just thinking about. A conversation you overheard solves a problem you've been stuck with for weeks. A song plays, and it sings the exact words you didn't know you needed. And in those moments, something inside you pauses. You feel it. That eerie chill down your spine. That strange pull in your gut. That whisper in the back of your mind that says, this isn't a coincidence. You might call it a sign, or the universe talking, or maybe divine timing. But whatever you call it, it leaves you asking the same thing. What does this mean? And why does it keep happening? Are you special? Is the universe trying to guide you? Are you finally on the right path? Or are you just noticing patterns that were always there? Maybe it's all of that. Or maybe it's something else entirely. The truth is, most people don't understand synchronicity. They romanticize it, they worship it, or worse, they manipulate it. Social media turns synchronicity into spiritual clickbait. See 111, you're aligned. See 555, big changes coming. But that's not depth, that's fast food. Synchronicity is not entertainment, it's initiation. A sacred communication between your inner world and the external one, between your unconscious mind and the field of reality itself. It's a language, but only if you know how to listen. It's a mirror, but only if you're brave enough to look. And it's a test, because not everything that glitters is divine. Not every sign is truth. Some are ego reflections, some are traps. Carl Jung, the man who brought the term synchronicity into psychology, didn't call it magic. He called it a psycho-spiritual event, something that bridges the unconscious with the conscious, something that pulls meaning out of randomness. Jung understood something ancient mystics always knew, and something modern science is only starting to rediscover, that your thoughts are not isolated. Your emotions are not private. Your internal state radiates, and the world listens. You are not a passive observer of the universe. You are a transmitter, a receiver. The question is, what are you tuned into? Because when you align your frequency, reality doesn't just respond, it reorganizes. Synchronicity happens when the mental, emotional, and spiritual fields snap into place, and the external world reflects that order. It's like your soul is speaking in Morse code, and the universe is tapping back. But the mistake people make is this. They think synchronicity is a reward, a cosmic pat on the back. It's not. It's a signal. Sometimes it's confirmation. Sometimes it's a warning. Sometimes it's a call to rise. And if you ignore it, life has a way of making the signs louder. In this video, we're going deeper than surface level signs. We're going to unravel the entire map. Every type of synchronicity, every layer of meaning, from the mystical to the psychological, from numbers and dreams, to people, places, and emotions. You'll learn why it happens, what triggers it, how to trust it, and how to know when it's just your mind playing tricks. This isn't a list of angel numbers. This is about inner alignment, vibrational awareness, and archetypal truth. It's not what the signs say, it's what they reveal about you. So if you've ever felt the tug, that this can't be random moment, the eerie alignment of thought and form, then this video is for you. Not to entertain you, not to make you feel special, but to give you the framework, the deep ancient framework, to see synchronicity for what it truly is, a sacred hidden language between the self and the infinite. This is every synchronicity explained in 40 minutes. Let's begin. What are synchronicities? Before we can decode synchronicities, we need to understand what they actually are, and more importantly, what they are not. The term synchronicity was first coined by Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist who dared to merge psychology with mysticism. He defined it as a meaningful coincidence of two or more events, where something other than chance is at play. In simpler terms, it's when two events, internal and external, occur together in a way that feels too perfect to be random. But here's the paradox. There's no logical cause connecting them. The events don't influence each other, yet somehow, they feel linked. It's a bridge between your inner world and your outer world, a non-causal connection, wrapped in mystery. Imagine thinking about a friend you haven't spoken to in years, and they text you 5 minutes later, or you finally decide to leave a toxic relationship, and a billboard appears that says, "Your new life starts here." Logic calls it coincidence, but the soul recognizes a pattern. According to Hermetic philosophy, synchronicity isn't magic, it's mental causation. The first Hermetic principle, all is mind. Everything in the universe begins in consciousness. Your thoughts, emotions, intentions, they're not locked inside your skull. They radiate, they shape, they command reality to respond. So when you're in deep alignment, when your inner and outer self are moving in harmony, the universe begins to echo back what you've been transmitting. That echo is what we call synchronicity. There's a resonance field surrounding you. It's not woo-woo, it's physics. Your body generates electromagnetic waves. Your heart, your brain, they pulse frequencies, and reality, or more accurately, your perception of it becomes shaped by that frequency. It's not that events are being placed in front of you randomly. It's that you are tuned into a frequency where those events can be noticed, felt, and understood. Carl Jung described synchronicity as a crack in the wall between the psyche and the cosmos, a moment where the inner self meets the outer world and recognizes itself. In spiritual terms, synchronicity is a conversation between your soul and the source. In psychological terms, it's your unconscious mind guiding your awareness towards something that needs to be seen. In practical terms, it's a signpost, not a destination, a nudge, not a guarantee. Think of it like this: if life is a video game, synchronicities are glowing objects on your map, not to distract you, but to remind you, you're getting warmer. But here's what synchronicity is not. It's not a reward for being spiritually advanced. It's not confirmation that you're better than others, and it's definitely not a reason to avoid responsibility or real-world action. People who misuse synchronicity become addicts, addicted to signs, addicted to symbols, waiting for numbers instead of making decisions. But ancient mystics, shamans, and Hermetic scholars all taught the same truth: synchronicity is sacred, and you must earn the ability to interpret it, not with intellect, but with awareness. So what is synchronicity? It's not random, it's not mystical noise, it's meaning made visible, a brief divine collision between time, thought, and destiny. You don't force it, you don't chase it, you become aligned, and it finds you. Numbers are one of the most common forms of synchronicity people experience. Whether it's seeing 1111 on the clock, catching license plates with repeating digits like 222, or waking up at 3:33 a.m. multiple nights in a row, it feels like more than coincidence. It feels intentional, like someone or something is trying to get your attention. Let's start with the most famous 1111. It's often called the wake-up code. For many, it's a gateway into spiritual awareness. Seeing 1111 repeatedly is thought to be a nudge from the universe to become more conscious, to snap out of autopilot and notice your thoughts. You might be on the verge of an awakening, or in the middle of a deep personal shift. Next, we have 222. This number shows up when your life feels like it's at a crossroads. It represents balance, relationships, duality, and decision-making. It appears when you're being guided to trust that things will work out, not through force, but through alignment. 222 asks you to surrender your anxiety and lean into patience. It's not a message of urgency, it's a message of reassurance. 333 carries a more creative energy. It often means your inner artist, communicator, or leader is begging to be unleashed. This number is a sign to stop doubting your voice. Stop overthinking your ideas. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to begin. 333 tells you you are supported in your expression, whether that's through words, actions, or art. 444 is deeply grounding. It shows up when you feel unstable, emotionally, financially, or spiritually. It's a reminder that you're protected and guided by forces you can't always see. Many interpret 444 as a sign that their ancestors, spirit guides, or even life itself is helping them build a stronger foundation. You might not feel safe, but you are safe. Then there's 555, the number of change. And not just any change. Bold, sometimes messy, often unavoidable change. This number means transformation is coming. Whether it's a new job, a breakup, a relocation, or a spiritual shift. 555 tells you to embrace the chaos. Growth is rarely comfortable, but it's always necessary. You might also see 666, often misunderstood. It's not evil. In the world of synchronicity, it's a call to realign. You're focusing too much on material worries, fear, or external validation. 666 asks you to come back to your center, to reconnect with your deeper values. Now, here's what matters. These numbers don't control your future. They're not fortune-telling codes. They're signposts. And signposts don't tell you what to do. They just remind you that you're on a journey, that you can pause, reflect, course correct. Synchronicities make you aware. And in a world addicted to speed, routine, and noise, awareness is revolutionary. Even if these signs are just your subconscious trying to tell you something, it doesn't make them less real. Maybe your mind is smarter than you think. Maybe your soul is trying to speak through symbols. Maybe life itself has more intelligence than we give it credit for. Either way, when you start seeing number synchronicities, don't just ask, what does this mean? Ask instead, what part of me is trying to wake up? That's where the real transformation begins. Have you ever felt a sudden wave of emotion, sadness, joy, anger, or calm, without any logical reason? You're walking, doing dishes, or scrolling your phone, and bam, you're hit with a deep feeling that doesn't seem to belong to the moment. This isn't random, it's what we call an emotional synchronicity. It's the universe speaking in a language deeper than words, through feelings. Most people ignore these moments, but those who pay attention, they begin to see the hidden currents of life. Sometimes, you're feeling anxious for no reason. You've done nothing wrong. There's no immediate threat, but something in you is tight, nervous. Your breath shortens, your heart races. This could be your soul sensing a deeper truth. Maybe you're in an environment that doesn't align with who you're becoming. Maybe someone around you isn't being honest. Maybe your future self is whispering, you need to change something. Or maybe you feel peace, an overwhelming, almost divine sense of calm in a situation that looks chaotic. Maybe you're standing in a hospital, or having a tough conversation, or staring at the unknown, but inside, you feel still. That's not ignorance. That's not denial. That's emotional synchronicity telling you you're exactly where you need to be. Your soul knows something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. One of the most powerful emotional synchronicities is sudden empathy. You walk into a room and instantly feel tension. You don't hear anything. No one says a word, but you know something's off. That's not your imagination. That's your emotional radar picking up energy that others hide. In those moments, your body becomes a receiver of silent truths. These synchronicities don't scream, they whisper, and it's in those whispers where real guidance lives. Ever thought about someone, and then they text you minutes later? That moment before your phone lights up, you feel something. A soft tug in your chest, a flutter of anticipation. That's not coincidence. That's a signal, your emotional field connecting with theirs. The same way we sense danger before it appears, we also sense connection before it arrives. Here's a deeper truth. Emotions are not just chemical reactions, they're messages. They carry information, they're invitations to slow down and listen. But in our modern world, we've been trained to numb them, to swipe them away, to medicate them, escape them, or label them as irrational. But what if your emotions aren't irrational? What if they're just misunderstood? Anxiety might be asking you to protect your energy. Sadness might be encouraging you to let go of an outdated identity. Joy might be guiding you to say yes to something bigger, and guilt might be waking you up to a misalignment you've been avoiding. When emotions rise with no context, when they hit like a wave out of nowhere, they're usually connected to something spiritual, something bigger than the story in your head. This is why emotional synchronicities are sacred. They're not just feelings, they're doorways. And here's the trick. The more you ignore them, the louder they get. What starts as a whisper becomes a storm. What begins as a gentle nudge becomes a breakdown, a panic attack, a cry in the dark. But if you pause, if you breathe, if you say, okay, what are you trying to tell me? That emotion will speak, and the guidance will come. You may not like what it says. It may ask you to walk away from a job, a person, or an identity. But emotional synchronicity always tells the truth, not the comfortable truth, the soul truth. In this chapter of your life, learn to treat your emotions not as problems, but as messages. When you feel something, ask yourself, is this emotion mine, or is it borrowed? Is it from the past, or is it a signal about the future? Because once you start listening, you'll realize you've never been alone. You've just been out of tune with the voice inside. Not all synchronicities come in dreams, numbers, or emotions. Some of the most mind-blowing synchronicities come from the physical world, the realm we think we understand best. But it's exactly where the universe chooses to get your attention most powerfully. Let me explain. You've been thinking about an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. You didn't Google them, you didn't message them, you just thought of them, and then you bump into them at the grocery store, or you see their name pop up in a news article. That's not just coincidence, that's a physical world synchronicity, the universe rearranging matter and moments to reflect your inner world. This type of synchronicity is unique. It's interactive. It's not a passive vision or a subtle inner nudge. It's life meeting you face to face with symbols, situations, and signs in real time. Here are a few examples you may have experienced. You're contemplating whether to leave a job, and a random person walks by with a t-shirt that says "jump" and the net will appear. You're asking the universe for a sign about a relationship, and your power goes out, your phone dies, or you get stuck in traffic before meeting them, as if life is literally slowing you down. You're doubting your path, and a stranger comes up to you and compliments your energy or tells you something oddly personal, as if they were sent. You can't plan these things, you can't force them, but they happen when your internal reality is screaming so loudly that the physical world echoes it back. Many people write off physical synchronicities as chance, but if it happens once, maybe it's luck. If it keeps happening, it's a message. These signs often feel like the world is winking at you. A perfectly timed song on the radio, a book falling off the shelf, a conversation you accidentally overhear that gives you the exact answer you were looking for. The key is to stop brushing these moments off. Pay attention to how they make you feel. The more you notice, the more they show up, because synchronicities don't come to convince you, they come to align you. Physical world synchronicities are your personal feedback loop with the universe. Every time you align more with your authentic self, your environment begins to mirror that truth. Not metaphorically, literally. If you're living out of alignment in a toxic job, relationship, or mindset, your external world will throw obstacles, resistance, delays, and discomfort your way. But when you're walking the path you're meant to walk, life often flows, nudges, and reaffirms you with moments that feel like magic. These are not accidents, they're clues, breadcrumbs, real-world signals that you're either going the right way or straying from your path. So when a book finds you, when a message pops up at the perfect time, when someone shows up to say exactly what you needed to hear, don't say it's just strange, say thank you. Because the physical world, it's alive with answers. Dream synchronicities. Dreams are more than just random images stitched together by your sleeping brain. They are portals, powerful bridges between your subconscious mind and the greater intelligence of the universe. And when synchronicities show up in dreams, they carry messages that your waking mind might not yet be ready to understand. Let's break it down. Have you ever dreamt of something, a person, a place, a situation, only to wake up and experience that exact thing the next day? Maybe you dreamt of someone you haven't seen in years, and the very next morning, they text you. Or maybe you dreamt of a strange symbol or number, and then you keep seeing that symbol repeatedly throughout your day. That's not just a dream. That's a dream synchronicity. When the line between dream world and real world gets blurry, and your inner world starts preparing you for outer events before they even happen. Why does this happen? Because your dreams are unfiltered. In that state, your conscious mind is asleep. You're no longer distracted by logic, fear, or social expectations. You're wide open, and the universe uses that space to deliver messages without resistance. There are two types of dream synchronicities: precognitive dreams. Dreams that seem to predict the future. You dream about a conversation, an argument, or a news story, and then it happens, detail for detail. You may feel a bit shaken by it, even disturbed, but instead of brushing it off, ask yourself, what was the dream trying to tell me emotionally? Often, these dreams are less about prediction and more about preparation. Symbolic dreams. These don't mirror reality directly, but they come with potent imagery or emotion. Maybe you dream of drowning, and the next day you realize you've been emotionally overwhelmed. Or you see a snake, and you meet someone who turns out to be deceptive. These aren't coincidences, they are intuitive warnings or validations sent in metaphor. What's wild is that people often ignore dream synchronicities because they don't come in literal language, but dreams speak in feeling, in metaphor, in archetypes, and the more in tune you are with yourself, the more clearly you begin to understand them. Here's something even deeper. When you begin to ask questions before sleep, your dreams often answer. This is known as intentional dreaming or dream incubation, and it's one of the oldest forms of spiritual communication. Let's say you ask, should I trust this person? What's the next step in my journey? What am I missing about this situation? Then you dream, and in that dream you may find yourself lost in a house, or talking to someone you haven't seen in years, or holding a map with no labels. These might seem strange, but they are clues. The subconscious is responding, the universe is responding, and it's using dreams as a safe symbolic space to guide you, without the ego interfering. But the real power of dream synchronicities, it's when they mirror your waking life. You dream of falling, and in life, you realize you're afraid to let go. You dream of flying, and you wake up with a confidence you've never felt. You dream of someone comforting you, and you realize you're finally healing. These dreams don't just happen, they're orchestrated, they're aligned, they're designed to nudge you, softly, silently, but with force. So don't ignore your dreams. Keep a dream journal. Track the themes, look for patterns, even if it feels nonsensical at first. Over time, you'll notice the universe isn't just speaking to you, it's whispering in your sleep. Because when your eyes are closed, your soul is wide open,